Welcome to the first training video. If you open the software, this is the first view you will see. This is the manager. In the center we have our customers. On the left we have our options, and on the right side, on the top right, we can search our customers. So the first thing you would like to do is create a new client. We can fill in a name, first name, last name, birth date and client number, and on these 4 terms you can also find your customer back. Training. Nothing is mandatory. If you only want to use a client number or last name, it's up to you. After adding a customer, here on the left side we can add a project. We have projects to more organize the files, so you can later find your customers back if you made an insole design, shoe last design, or if you want to reproduce a pair of insoles. So let's go add project. And then on the left we can say we want to add an insole design. So here in the center we have our designs, our scans, our files. And then we can say we want to add some 3D scans. So with add file, 3D scan, we can import STL files, OBJ files, or we can directly scan with our LutraCAD scanners. And then the scans will directly be imported. We also have our cloud import here on the left side. So if you make use of an iPad app or iPhone app, you can click on cloud import, search your reference and import the 3D scans directly in the software. For now I'm going to import some files. So I click 3D scan, click on import, and then I can select the file. As you can see, this one has a lot of noise in it, and we are also able to clean this up. So if I also import the right foot. So the left view is for the left foot and the right one is for the right foot. And then we can click save. If you then click on 3D scan, we have the option to repair this. With repair we mean clean up or remove noise or anything like that. If you accidentally swapped left and right, we also have this button here in the center. So they will be switched. So let's clean up this left file first. So I'll click on repair. And as you can see, it has a lot of noise. So what we'll do first is we select the model, click on clip, and then we can click 2 times to draw a line where the 3D scan will be clipped on. The green part will be kept and the red part will be removed. So here on the top right side we can say no, it's not the right part, and then yes, and then it will remove the red area. The next option is here to split disjoint pieces. This will remove everything except the foot. So then it will ask us to select the foot and then say yes. And then we have our cleaned up model. With clip we remove something in a straight line from your current view, but we also have the option to delete region. So if you have an impression box with fingers in it or something else you want to remove, you can click on delete region. Then we can click a couple of times to draw a curve, what we want to delete. And the last step is to confirm. Let's do split disjoint pieces one more time. And then we have our cleaned up model. If we now click save, we will go back to our manager and we have our cleaned up model. For the software it doesn't matter if you use direct foot scans, impression box or anything like that. So I'll also import some impression boxes. Left, right, Save. So now we added our Insole design and our 3D scans. Here on the right side, next to our items, we have some actions. So here we can also delete something, or we can duplicate a design. So if someone gets back after a year and a half and you need to do some small modifications, you can duplicate the design, modify it, and you still have your original if necessary. So now I click on Insole design. On the top left, we have some views, some things we can turn on and off. So if you don't want to have the left side visible, we can just uncheck this box, make it transparent, hide the insoles itself. And the next step is, we need to follow these steps here on the right side to get to our insole. So the first thing we want to do is add a pattern. Full contact is based on a 3D scan, so it will really create the 3D scan of a foot. Prefab are predefined 3D shapes we have in the library. Sensomotoric is a flat insole and then build up with different elements. And we also have the option to import 3D STL files of other insoles that you want to 3D print or mail that have been designed in other software. So let's go to full contact. We have a base library. It's also possible to expand this. It's done in the settings and we can take a look at it in a later stage. So let's pick a shape for now. Then we have our production method here on the right side. How do we want to produce? We can mail EVA from one side, two sides. We can create molds. We can mail a shell in like polypropylene two-sided. But we can also create 3D printable objects like a solid model. It's an EVA replacement. Or we can do the shell for PA11 or PA12 3D printed devices. If we go with 3D printing solid, we get our planter design visible directly. And we see the contour of our insoles here in the black line. So the next step is adding 3D scans. Now the software will position our 3D scans as good as possible. Pick the correct shoe size and automatically determines the insole height based on these 3D scans. So after choosing a pattern shape, picking a 3D scan, you have your first full contact insoles. If I go to analysis here on the top left, we can hover over our insole. And in white we can see our device and in green our 3D scan. So as you can see, it's a perfect fit. So this is the basis. You can still modify anything you would like. If the 3D scans are not positioned correctly, or if the software is not able to do that, the software will ask for 3 points. Metatarsal 1, metatarsal 5, and the center of the heel. We can also do this manual, so behind 3D scan we have align manual if the software did not do it correctly. And as you can see, the software asks for the first point, metatarsal 1, 5, and the center of the heel. Same for the right foot, metatarsal 1 first, 5, and the center of the heel. If the 3D scans are upside down, the most common thing that happened is that metatarsal 1 and 5 are swapped, and then the software will put the scans upside down, or you have the right foot on the left side or the left foot on the right side. To change this, go back to the manager by clicking this open button. Let's save this for now. And then we can click on 3D scan and we can swap it here in the center. let's go back to our design stage. So this is the base. The next step, we can add elements or additions. So we have two options here on the left. Elements are additions that are glued on top of the device, and sinks will create relieve an area of pressure, so it will remove material from our device. So let's add a mat pad for now, and we can set the current height here. So it's on 3, let's go with 2. And we have these hearts to favorite your additions, so they are always on the top of the list. So now you have these mat pads. So now we picked everything that we want to use for this design. So then we can go to the next step. And we can change our shoe size, insole thickness, insole height. So here at size table, we can swap between EU, US men, US women, UK and millimeters. If necessary, we can still modify our shoe size to what size we need. And behind it we have this lock. This lock does not mean you can't modify it, it's just that we keep left and right the same shoe size. So if we click on this lock, the field will be unlocked and you can modify this setting. So here we have shoe size, insole thickness. The insole thickness is the general thickness of our device, so generally the forefoot and the thickness below our heel. Just like with additions, we have favorites, but we can also have the same with our corrections. So here we have insole width as our favorite, and now it's 89 millimeters wide, but we can also unfavor it by clicking the heart, and then we can remove this correction if we want. To add more corrections to this list, we can click on add corrections and we get all our current available options. So let's add a pronation. It will be added to the list, and if you want to favorite it, we just have to click on this heart. And then the next time we make a new design, it will automatically be in this list already. So let's add a pronation. So I'll go to the front view so you are able to see what it does. So now our region is set to forefoot. You can also do rear foot or entire device. So let's add 5 millimeters. And as you can see, we have our current correction. We can also set it to degrees if preferred. And you're always able to swap between your settings. So you're always able to go back and forth and change what you want. The left column is for the left foot and the right column is for the right foot. Next to pronation, we also have supination. This will lift the medial side. Then we have the option to flatten front foot. Sometimes the front foot area is not 100% flat and some customers prefer this. So if we click flatten front foot, it will make the front foot area 100% flat. And we have this option now to enable and disable this setting. As you can see, our corrections are arranged by area. So we have our forefoot corrections, midfoot, our heel, and we have some other corrections that apply the whole device. Other things we can do next to corrections is also move these elements or rotate them. It's the same with the 3D models. If the 3D model is not on the correct position, we can click on it with our left mouse button. And then we can use our arrow keys on the keyboard to move them left, right, up and down. And if the rotation is not correct, we get these buttons here on the left side. Depending on what you select, you get different options. So only the available options are visible. So if I would click my matte pad, we have some more options to mirror this or to modify the shape or scale this. And with 3D scans we can move it around, rotate it or delete a region. So if I click on rotate, we have to click on 3 points with our left mouse button. So first the center point of rotation. Second click is where we want to grab the 3D scan. And then we can move our mouse from left to right. And with the third click, also the last click, we can confirm our position. And then we can do the same with the right one. The software will not automatically update our full contact device because then it has to load every time we change something. So we can click on update now. And now it will generate a new total contact device and apply our corrections on it. The additions or elements are not positioned on the right position immediately. So we can show our 3D scan, hide our insoles, and then go to our planter site. And this way it makes it easier to position them correctly. So then we can click on our matte pad, we can hold our left mouse button on it to drag it around, or we can use our arrow keys to give it some nudges. Next to rotating an element, we can also scale it. With 1D it's in one direction, so it can make it longer or wider. And with 2D it will make it longer and wider. So we have first have our point where we want to scale from, where we want to grab it. Then we can move our mouse, and with the third click we can confirm the scaled object. Then we can also modify the shape. So we have a big library of elements and it's possible to modify them to your own needs. So then I can click on box and we get this grid. We can hold our left mouse button to select a couple of points, and then just like before we can use the arrow keys to move it, or we can hover over one of these points and then drag these points with our left mouse button. So we can change the shape from the top side, but if we would go to the side view, zoom in a bit, we can also select these points from the side view and move the highest point a bit more forward or backwards, or if we would go to the front view, we can move the highest point more medial or lateral. So you can change it in any way you want, and then we can click on confirm. So now we have our new shape. If we click on this element, we have the option here on the top right to add this to our library. Give it a name and then click on OK. And now we have a new element in our library. So if I go back to step 1, I can click on elements, and at the bottom of our list we have our new element. If I click on this right element, I can use the delete key on our keyboard, or I can use this delete button to delete this. Then I can click on this matte pad and use the mirror button to mirror it to the other side. You can still move this around, scale this, modify it to the other foot. Let me take a look. So we have the option to correct the arch height. So we have medial arch correction. You change this value. If you use a positive number like 3, it will increase our arch height, and with a negative number it will lower it. So this only modifies the arch area. We also have the compress option here at other, and this will compress the whole device. So if I would fill in 15%, it will compress the whole device 15%. Then we have options for medial and lateral flanges. So let's go with our lateral flange for now. Go with 10 millimeters, and then it will add our lateral flange on the left device. We also have a medial flange. It will do the same but on the medial side. Then we can move the apex forward or backwards. It's not necessary, but some of our customers prefer this. So then we can add this correction to our list. Show our 3D scan, and then we could see maybe we want to move this a bit forward. So then I'll fill in 15 millimeters, for example. And now our highest point of our medial arch will move 15 millimeters forward. And then it connects a lot better than before. Then the next one I see on our list is heel lift. Here we can change the number so we get extra thickness below the heel. If I would fill in 2 millimeters, we will get a total thickness of 4 millimeters. Because our insole thickness is 2, plus the 2 millimeter heel lift is 4 millimeters. So we will have 4 millimeters of material below the heel. Then we can add a skive. We have 2 modes. One is the automatic mode, and we have a manual mode where you can drag a plane around. So then we can fill in, we need a skive of 2 millimeters. Oh, need to increase it a bit. Let's go with 5. A bit too much. And this will create our skive. Then we have the option to do a heel cup width, depth, heel cup depth. So depending on which height you want. Currently it's in proportion with our insole height, so we always get the general same shape of our device. But if you need a specific heel cup depth, you can fill it in, and then the heel cup depth will automatically change to your needs. It's also possible to smooth the insole, so if it's not 100% smooth it, you can say smooth, fill in a number 1 or 2, and the whole device will be more smoothly. It's also possible to smooth a specific region by drawing certain points to draw this region. But it's also possible to add text or add your logo. So let's add some text on the bottom side. Let's go with LutraCAD. Select. These texts are now on our bottom side. We can select them, move them around to whatever position we need. It's also possible to modify this planter design. So if I would click on the screen object, we have the option to box edit this or edit the trim line. So if I click edit trim line, we can click on the edge, move our mouse, and with the second click we can confirm its position. And then here on the top right side we can say confirm. And now we will have our new shape. If we click on this green shape, it's also possible to mirror this to the other side, so we have identical planter designs. If we would now go to our next step, to 3D printing, it will create a 3D printable model with our text LutraCAD on the bottom side. I see I accidentally moved our matte pads, so we can go back one step. It will make us modify the design again, and then we can click on our matte pad history and we can undo this translation, and then it will undo our translation that I accidentally did before. And then we can go back to the 3D printing tab. We have different options here at the 3D printing tab. It's a heel edge thickness. So here at the heel we create a 1mm thickness. It's to prevent any holes when 3D printing, or when we would mill EVA, it will create a more sturdy heel cup. Then we have some grinding styles. Standard it's on round, but we can also go straight or a hybrid mode. So if I would take a look at my insoles, the round means it will connect the top side of our device with the bottom in a round shape. You can also see it here at the heel, it's a bit round. But if you would move this to straight, it will connect the top and bottom in a straight line instead. And we also have a hybrid mode, so then it will connect the heel in a straight line, but the midfoot will be round. If you are using one of the printers in our 3D printers list, we can also change the density per region. If you just want to export STL files, that's good as well. Then if we would go to the next step here at the top, we can say export STL, fill in a name, and then the insoles will be exported. But if we want to 3D print with different regions and different densities, we can click on our insole and we can set our hardness here on the top right. It's also possible to split our device. So here we have split elements. This will automatically split the additions we've added, the elements, and now we already have two regions, so we can specifically change this to soft. The other option is to click split here, and then we can split by drawing a curve or a line. So let me just use 2 points, confirm, and now it will cut our insole over this line, and we can say we need this area or region hard. To 3D print this on our printer, we can click on produce now. Then the item will be added to our production list. I see I didn't enable a printer yet, but else the printer will be visible here on the top right side, and you're always able to change your printer if you choose to use a different one. Then we can click on open. If we open our old design, we can just click on it and we will start from step 1 again. It's also possible to go to productions here. And then you can also open this one, so you don't have to walk through all the whole design phase, but directly open your production item and reproduce it. If you want to modify it, you can click on Insole Design. It will open from step 1. So now it will import our templates, 3D scans, applies our modifications. And we can still modify anything we want. And then go to 3D printing and continue those steps. It's also possible to change production methods. So if I first 3D printed it, but now I want to mill it, I can put it on milling EVA. And then go to the last step. And now we have a millable file. So now we can click on produce now to add it to our milling table and then generate the G-code. If you have a milling table where we have the option for multiple pairs, we can also click on place in production. Then it will be added to our production list instead. And can be found here at the top. And then we can create a new milling project, import our devices and generate the G-code for the milling file. So this way we made our first design. Creating a customer, adding scans, creating a design, applying corrections, and then add it to our production list. Thank you for today. Next time we are going to talk about our settings for our library, milling table, and what we can do more in our software. See you next time.